Moving to a new city is exciting, but it can be overwhelming. And trust me, I know because I made the move to Salem, Oregon just about 3 years ago, so I can understand some of the things that you may be considering when making that move. So through my own experiences and the experiences of many of my clients who moved to Salem, Oregon, I've made this video to prep you so you can feel more like a local faster when you move to Salem, Oregon, and avoid some of the pitfalls as a newcomer to this city. And you're definitely going to want to stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to share some insider tips that's going to make your first year in Salem a lot smoother. One of the most important things you're going to do in your first year in Salem, Oregon is settle down into your new neighborhood. Now, this could be a little bit challenging if you're not all that familiar with the neighborhood. So in this section, I'm going to break down the various neighborhoods in Salem, Oregon. Now, there's a lot of them, so I'm going to do a general overview. If you do want more specific information, make sure you check out my videos specific to Salem neighborhoods. But this could make or break your first year, and it will certainly impact your lifestyle. The first area in Salem we're going to talk about is South Salem. This is going to be the southern portion of Salem. A lot of people like this because you have a mix of hillside properties, flat properties, and most importantly, you are really close to a lot of amenities along Commercial Street and Liberty Street. Those are two main streets that run north-south throughout the entire city of Salem. It's a neighborhood where pretty much wherever you live, you're about 5, maybe 7 minutes away from any type of grocery shopping and whatever type of amenities that you could want, including a lot of professional services. This is a very well-established neighborhood with a lot of neighborhood parks, and you're just maybe about 10, 15 minutes away from the downtown area, which is the main entertainment hub for Salem. Most notable, this is where our one and only Costco is. It's also really close to our mega Walmart, and you have pretty easy access to I-5 if you're going to be commuting up north or south. Now, my family and I didn't end up choosing South Salem. I'll reveal what neighborhood we live in a little bit later in the video. But we go to South Salem quite often, especially for my favorite supermarket, Trader Joe's, and there's a lot of casual restaurants and coffee places that we enjoy there as well. The next neighborhood we're going to talk about is downtown. Now, there's not a whole lot of living or residential areas in the immediate downtown area. There's a few condos and a few apartment buildings, but we're mainly talking about just north of downtown in the Highland Grant area, or just south of downtown in the Bush Pasture Park area known as South Central. Both of these are adjacent to the downtown area, and they're really cool spots because they have historic homes all throughout the neighborhood. And you'll find a lot of bungalow and craftsman homes, so if you're into that style, this is the neighborhood you're going to want to be in. While the homes are older and tend to be a little bit smaller, they do have a lot of charm and character you're just not going to find anywhere else outside of those areas in Salem. One of the highlights of living in Bush Pasture Park, aside from the great architecture, is Bush Pasture Park. It's a great open space, lots of greenery, rose garden, historic buildings there, lots of events are there, walking paths, and they have little sports fields and open fields for nice picnic areas. Just a beautiful place right in the center of that neighborhood. Now, of the two neighborhoods that are adjacent to the downtown area, this one's going to be more expensive. If you like the idea of historic homes, craftsman and bungalow homes, and you want a little bit less expensive area, then you go a little bit north into the Grant Highland area, where you'll find similar homes, just a little bit smaller and smaller lots. The benefit of both of these areas is that you can walk, bike ride, or quick, easy drive into the downtown area for the charming aspects of the downtown, where you have got great restaurants, a little bit of shopping, and just a fun spot to go. Now I'm going to be talking about Northeast and East Salem, where it's popular for being more affordable. It's one of the more affordable areas in all of Salem. It puts you a little further away from the downtown area in some spots and further away from the Willamette River, if that's of any interest. The big benefit of this is that you have a lot of affordability and you are really close to all the amenities that you can want, including the one and only Target that we have here in Salem. Yes, there's another Target, but it's in Kaiser. But if we're talking specifically to Salem, that's the only one we've got. It's also really close to the Willamette Town Center, which is our big one and only big box shopping center that we have here in Salem as well. Again, we do have another option that's in Kaiser through the Kaiser Station, and even that you're closer living in East Salem and North Salem. The other interesting thing to note about East Salem is that there is a massive development going on of new construction homes, well over 150 homes being built currently and that are ready to buy right now. So if you want new construction at a little bit more of an affordable rate, then East Salem may be the right fit for you. Now we're going to move on to West Salem, and this is the actual neighborhood where my family and I chose to live. Now, there's a little bit of controversy about West Salem. People love it or they hate it. We absolutely love it, and we chose it because You feel a little bit away from it all in Salem. Not that Salem is a big hustling, bustling city, but we were moving from a large city. We wanted kind of more space. We wanted some hillside properties. We wanted potential views. And we just wanted to feel like we can breathe a little bit and still be close to the downtown area. And West Salem checks off all the boxes for that. The other thing about West Salem is that you have all the amenities that you need as well, with supermarkets, some restaurants, and some casual shopping areas, although not nearly enough as I would like. Now, I will admit, it doesn't have everything we would want. We don't have the movie theater on this side. We don't have a Target on this side. We don't have a Walmart on this side of in West Salem. So we do have to travel about 20-25 minutes to get to those locations. But for me, that's not a big deal. I'd rather have that trade-off for a little bit more space. Plus, I like being really close to the agriculture and farm scene. I love the drives out there, and we're adjacent to the Willamette wine country. So anytime we want to do a quick little wine tour, we're about 5-10 minutes away from the close wineries in the Willamette Valley. The biggest knock on West Salem is you've got to cross over the bridge. And everybody knows about the bridge when talking about Salem. It crosses the Willamette River. West Salem is really the only part of Salem on the other side of the river, and it can get a little bit congested. It can get a little bit trafficy. It's actually gotten worse this year. It wasn't all that bad my first few years, but it has gotten a little bit worse, and they continue to build out here. That's something to note too. There are a lot of new construction options here in West Salem as well. It's going to be a little bit more expensive than East Salem, however. But something to note, if you don't want to hit some commute rush hour, or if you don't want to hit traffic going over the bridge, or you don't feel like driving 20-25 minutes to a Target or some of the other amenities, then West Salem might not be the right fit for you. But if you feel like you want a sense of space, if you want to be closer to nature, then West Salem is going to be the right fit for you. Now I want to jump into some interesting housing quirks, neighborhood quirks that you definitely want to be prepared for. First being flood zones, something that you want to be aware of when living close to the Willamette River or some of the creeks that branch off the Willamette River are the flood zones. Now, if this is something of concern for you, don't worry, you can always contact me. Local real estate agent will help you with that. And you can also look at the FEMA maps that will also show you where the flood zones are in the Salem area. But certainly something you want to be prepared for. The other thing is hillside properties. When looking in West Salem or South Salem, be prepared for a lot of hillside properties. Now, this is cool if you like views and a little bit sense of privacy, like my family and I do. But it also could be a little bit of a nuisance when the roads get icy. It makes it a little challenging to get out of your driveway. Not the easiest for kids to play out in the front because the ball will roll down the hill. So if that's not something you're into, so just be prepared as you're looking at home sites that a lot of West Salem and parts of South Salem do have the hill properties. You also want to be prepared for the historic districts that we have here in Salem. Again, if you love those bungalows and craftsman style home and you want to be near the downtown area, we talked about those areas, but they are part of historical districts, which have some restrictions when it comes to your house. They can dictate paint color and other things when it comes to adding on or doing construction to the home. So just something you want to be prepared for and aware of if that is something of concern. Now, I mentioned new construction in East Salem and West Salem, and I will say as the years go by and builders build, every year the homes seem to get a little bit closer and closer to each other. And they're not quite touching yet, but they're getting closer. So if you're someone that wants your space, larger backyards, be prepared that the new construction homes that are being built now don't quite have that. Now, the beauty is that they're new homes, and a lot of people are attracted to that, so I completely understand, but again, be prepared for a lack of space. We also have this cool little quirky neighborhood called Pringle Creek, which is an agri-hood. And if you want to know the specifics of what an agri-hood is, comment below, ask there, and I'll make sure I address it. But just as a little bit of a sneak peek, it's basically where agriculture and neighborhood meet. A lot of community living. It's really cool, unique lifestyle. I have a whole video about it if you want to check my library here on my channel. But just be prepared that we do have a cool agri-hood that popped up in Salem just a few years ago. And of course, for ultimate preparation for moving to Salem, check out my channel about the different neighborhoods here. It'll get you a little bit more intimate knowledge of what it's like to live in those specific parts of Salem before you come out here for a visit. The other thing is when you are out here, or before you come out here, check out a map. See where it is that you're going to be working, commuting to, spending most of your time, and take a look at where some of the houses you're considering buying and how it all intersects and meets. And the other thing, of course, when you come out to Salem to check out different neighborhoods, make sure you drive them walk around at different times of the day, different days of the week, so you get a good sense of what it's like, your daily lifestyle. Also, talk to neighbors. Come out here prepared to talk to neighbors and people that live in the neighborhood. Prepare some of your questions because people love to talk about their neighborhoods. And of course, I'll help answer any questions that you may have. As a reminder, I'm Dave Fine with the Real Estate Dads at eXp Realty. And if you're thinking about making the move to Salem, Oregon or the surrounding areas, make sure you hit me up at the contact information below. I'm a local real estate agent, love helping people relocate here. I completely understand what you're going through as I made the relocation here with my family. And if you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this. Hit the like button to get this video out to more people, and comment below. Would love to hear your thoughts and your questions about Salem, Oregon. The next thing you need to prep here for your first year in Salem, Oregon, especially if you're not from the Pacific Northwest, is the amount of rain and precipitation that we get here in Salem. We have about over 150 days of some sort of precipitation. Basically, from October through May, you're going to have a lot of rainy days and a lot of gray skies. Now, don't take this point lightly or skip over this section. Now, you may be thinking weather, not a very interesting topic. And if you see my other videos, you know I talk about this quite often. But it is a really big deal, especially if you're coming from a place that has a fair amount of sun, like I did. From Los Angeles, tons of sun, lots of warm weather all throughout the year. And we moved to Salem, Pacific Northwest, where it was pretty much the opposite. So if you are someone that has some sort of seasonal depression, or that you think you're going to be greatly affected by the lack of sunlight or just quite a bit of rain, this may not be the right fit for you. But I will also say, when I say it rains, it's not like it's massive storms that you have in the south or the east coast. It's mainly just kind of this what we call Oregon rain. It's like a mist, a light rain. Not to say that we don't have some big storms come through, but it's more of just the steadiness of the rain. And more importantly, it's actually more about the gray skies. Now, the sun does come out throughout the fall and winter season. Don't get me wrong about that. A lot of times it'll rain, sun will come out, rain again. But just be prepared for a lot of that type of weather. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do to prep yourself for this. Now, we'll start off with some of the easy stuff and no-brainer stuff, and that is just invest in some rain gear. Light rain jacket, some warmer clothes, multiple rain jackets, and just be prepared. Don't get an umbrella because most locals here don't buy an umbrella. A lot of people are just used to your day-to-day living in the rain. So if you do have an umbrella, you may stick out as a first-year person here in Salem. Also, invest in some vitamin D just to make sure you get covered through the fall and winter season from that lack of sun. I know that could help a lot with moods. I know a lot of people buy daylight lamps to help with the mood. So when it is rainy and grainy out, they just put on those mood lights and it helps them feel a little bit better. The next two prep tips I can share with you are invaluable, and that is embrace the indoor activities. Now, I will say, again, people here are outdoors during the rain and the gray skies. No big deal. We go out all the time. But you also want to make sure that you have fun indoor activities to do. And Salem is well prepared for that, especially if you got kids. We've got lots of options, trampoline parks. We've got gymnastic centers. We've got museums. We've got laser tags. We've got arcade. We've got bowling. We've got movie theaters. And of course, so much more. Now, the other big tip I can share with you, and this is something that we had to do. My first year was a little bit rough here, my first winter, but it was just changing my mindset. Just knowing this is the way it was going to be and accepting it and also appreciating it. I know that I'm able to enjoy all of the nature, all of the green space, the greenery that is in Salem, Oregon because of the amount of rain we get. I also know that we get fresh fruits and vegetables from all the local farms because of the type of weather that we have. And I also learned just to cozy up by a fireplace or sit down with a warm cup of tea or coffee in a local coffee place and just really embrace that time to bundle up and enjoy the fall and winter weather. Now, there is a big payoff when late spring and summer hit because the weather is beautiful here. It is fantastic. Everyone is out and about. You can expect most days in the 80s, although I will say this past summer was a bit warmer. We had more days touch in the 90s, but it's still comfortable. It's a dry heat. It's not like you're in the south where you're sweating the minute you walk out the door from humidity. It's a great time to take advantage of outdoor dining. A lot of restaurants have that outdoor dining options. We also eat outdoors in our backyard and the patio. We are out and about on the trails, hiking, walking, biking. It's just a lot of fun during the summer. And this is when we have most of our festivals and festivities and community events. We've got a massive state fair here with lots of fun. Kids love it. This is when movies in the park open up. Concerts in the park are alive and well. We've got a great art festival at Bush Pasture Park. We've got the Saturday market in full swing where the community comes out and enjoys all the local produce and some of the vendors that come out for that. and there are so many more events to enjoy during the summer here in Salem. Now, the next thing you want to prep for is the commute and traffic here in Salem. Now, for me personally, I came from a big city, so I actually had to prepare for not being stuck in traffic and change my mindset about that. Change my driving habits and patterns a little bit. I was a bit aggressive in Los Angeles because you had to be, and now I feel like I can relax. There's really not a lot of congestion. There really isn't a lot of traffic. Yeah, in the morning and after work hours, you're going to hit some of it, especially on Center Street, maybe a little bit in downtown. Lancaster, you'll hit a little bit in the eastern portion of Salem. And if you're in West Salem, you're going to hit a bit of that on the bridge and on Wallace Road. But the reality is, it's not that big of a deal. For me personally, it's added like maybe 10 minutes, at most 15 minutes to my drive. And that's not every day. It's nothing like you would experience anything in Portland or any large city. So yes, the locals will complain a bit more about it because they've seen more people move to Salem, so they're seeing more congestion. I get that. I totally understand. However, if you're moving from a larger city, traffic won't be much of an issue. What will be an issue is if you're used to good public transportation. All we really have is what's called the chariots, and that's a bus system that runs throughout Salem. But that's it. There's no trolley cars, there's no subways, there's no light rail. It's just bus, and that's it. We've got a main bus station and hub downtown. We've got a little hub in West Salem, and then there's bus stops throughout the city. A lot of people will say that it really doesn't take you everywhere you want to be or where you want to go, but it is available. The other thing that's kind of lacking here is bike lanes. Nothing like you're going to find in Portland, although there are more and more bike lanes popping up here in Salem, and people use it to commute, but not nearly as much. It's really because the city of Salem is so spread out that bikes is not the most realistic way to get around. You see a lot of people biking, but it's more for pleasure or exercise in the parks and in the trails, not really kind of your day-to-day living. We really have a car culture here in Salem, and again, for me, not a big deal. I came from a car culture city, and so I really embrace being in my car anyway. The other thing I should tell you about commuting and traveling in Salem is that we're really centrally located, so it's only about an hour, a little over an hour to get to the coast in Lincoln City, where you can enjoy the beautiful coastline up and down the Oregon coast. We're also about an hour and a half away from the mountains, so you're really close to that. Hour away from Portland, hour and a half to Eugene. So as far as commuting and traveling and having your car, there's a benefit to having a car because you can access some of those really cool spots that I just mentioned in Oregon. The next thing you're going to want to prep for is the community lifestyle here that we have here in Salem. Now, this is something that I really wanted when moving to Salem. My family really wanted this, and we thought it'd be great for our kids. However, we weren't really prepared or didn't know how many events happen, and we also didn't realize how much this really enhanced our lifestyle. I'll admittedly say the first year we moved here, we moved in the summer, we didn't take full advantage of the events, and we felt a little bit isolated. With a lot of people were talking about going to these places and running into each other, and we just didn't really do that. We weren't used to that coming from a big city. But the years following, we truly embraced the community events that we have here in Salem, and we really feel part of our neighborhood, part of the city, and part of the community. The city really encourages and embraces a lot of events throughout the year. Most of them are going to happen during the spring and summer, but we certainly have them in the fall and winter as well. During the spring and summer, there's pretty much an event every single weekend, and you're going to run into your friends, your neighbors, your family, because again, everyone embraces this. We love the Cherry Blossom Festival on the Capitol building grounds. We love the State Fair. We've got the World Beats Festival at Riverfront Park, celebrating a lot of culture. The Art Festival, which I had mentioned over at Bush Pasture Park. We've got Ag Fest that really celebrates and highlights all of the agricultural surrounding us. Forest Fest that really encourages you to embrace nature. We've got the Ironman that runs through here. We've got Hoopla, which is a massive 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the downtown area in the summer. We've got multiple car shows. I mentioned movies and concerts at the park. And there are just so many more events that I haven't listed here, but they go on throughout the year. I will highlight one of my favorite seasons here, and that's the fall, because we do have a lot of fall festivities at the local farms. They open up, you can find corn mazes, pumpkin patches, a lot of fun games and rides for the kids. They've got tractor rides, obstacle courses, big haystack castles, haunted mazes, music, entertainment, and some great food. And you can pretty much hit up a new farm in their festival every weekend during the fall. The other thing you want to do in your first year living in Salem is embrace the agriculture and the wine scene that we have here in Salem. I mentioned that we were surrounded by agriculture and farmland, and that's no exaggeration if you look at a map. There's nothing surrounding us but open space for farm and agriculture, and I truly love it. For me, even just taking a drive through it clears my mind to get a breath of fresh air. But you really feel that community connection with all your local farmers. You're going to see it at restaurants with a lot of farm-to-table menus, seasonal menus because we have such easy access to crops. We've got a number of farmers markets, including the big Saturday market that we have every weekend from spring through fall in the downtown area that really brings in the whole city together, where you can buy local produce, find local vendors and food trucks and some entertainment. I also mentioned we're in the heart of the Willamette wine country with over 700 vineyards in the area, and it's such an easy access point, especially if you are in West Salem. You're just a short commute, short drive, and they're all really connected and bundled together. So you can do a lot of winery hopping, which is fun. There's a lot of events that they host there during the spring, summer, and fall as well to take full advantage. We do have a small but a growing restaurant scene. There's a lot of hidden gems. If you want to know those hidden gems, go ahead and ask me in the comments, and I may share that with you. But I don't want to get them too crowded because I love going there with my family, and I don't want to wait in line or make reservations. And I will note, Salem is a place where you really don't have to make a lot of reservations, which is a good thing. However, with more people coming here and the food scene growing, that may change. But just know that we are, as a city, rallying behind more culinary cuisines coming in. We do have food from all around the world. We just would like to see more of it. There's also a big coffee culture here in Salem, Oregon. Lots of coffee places throughout the city, and people really embrace the brew. So with that, a lot of these places are very welcoming, have a lot of fun, unique drinks. So that is something, if you're not into coffee and tea, you may become a coffee and tea lover when you move to Salem. Something you should definitely prep for when it comes to community is the lack of nightlife we have here. If you're coming from a big city and you're used to going to bars and clubs, bar hopping, or late evenings into midnight, 1, 2 in the morning, we don't really have that here in Salem. So if you're looking for that, prepare to be disappointed. Now, I took full advantage of that when I was younger, no kids. That's just not my lifestyle, my plan anymore. However, I do wish places stayed open a little bit later. We're just not going to have that. We don't have the large concert venues that you're going to find in Portland. Salem is just a bit quieter, a little bit more sleepy, a little bit more small town feel. So just prepare for that when moving to Salem, Oregon. Now you're considering moving to Salem, Oregon, and of course part of that is job hunting. So if that's something that you haven't already figured out and you're curious to know what the job market is like and be prepared for that in your first year here, I've got it here for you. Our biggest employer is going to be in the government sector. We are, after all, the capital of the state of Oregon. And so we've got massive amounts of government jobs here, mainly in the downtown area through the state capitol. Other buildings, local, state, and federal are here in the Salem area. So if that's your jam, or if that's what you're wanting to be employed through, then we've got you covered as far as that job sector goes. Now, I will say, having been to a lot of state capitals, it doesn't feel like you're just inundated with government officials everywhere. Like, you go to the downtown area, go to the restaurants, and you don't see a lot of suits, and you don't see a lot of people, wheeling and dealing and talking politics all the time. So while it is front and center, of course, having the Capitol building here in Salem, Oregon, you don't really feel that necessarily. Another big employer that we have here in Salem is in the health sector. We've got Salem Hospital, which is the biggest, Salem Health Hospital, which is the biggest hospital that we have here in Salem. And there's just a lot of other ancillary services that are related to the health field sector. So if that is something that you're looking for, absolutely have you covered. It is a fairly big industry here in Salem. The next biggest one I'd say is education. We've got the Salem Kaiser School District and a number of universities, including Corbin University, Willamette University. Those are the two big ones. We have Chemeketa Community College as well. So 3 colleges right here in Salem, and you've got a couple of others on the outskirts of Salem as well. And so between the primary school system and these universities and colleges, you've got a lot of exposure to the educational field. So if you're a teacher, a professor, or some sort of support services, absolutely have you covered here in Salem. And lastly, I'll mention the agriculture business here. I've talked about that in the previous sections of this video. So if you are in agriculture, farming, or again, any of those supporting services, you're going to find a great home here in Salem. Very welcoming and much needed services here. So those are the main sectors to be prepared for as far as your biggest employers, your biggest job sectors. Of course, there's a lot more job sectors here in Salem. Most notably, I will say that a lot of people moving to Salem are people that are working from home. So they're actually bringing the job to Salem. And so I'll say there's a big benefit because a lot of people are moving from these larger cities where they have these whatever types of jobs, and they can bring that to the smaller city feel, So if you're someone that is going to be working from home, know that you've got a lot of people and a lot of support here. We've got a great chamber of commerce here. And again, those coffee shops are loaded with people that work from home. So you'll establish and make great community as well. Now let's prep for a little bit of your day-to-day living. I mentioned amenities in various neighborhoods. And again, if you want more specifics on that, check out my neighborhood videos to see where some of those amenities are at. But I'll just say you should be prepared for limited shopping and exposure. We've got one shopping center that has big box stores, as I mentioned, the Willamette Town Center. That's where you're going to find Best Buy, Home Goods, Sierra, Foot Locker, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, Hobby Lobby, and a few other places. That's where our movie theater is. Across the way, you're going to have our Target there. Now, I mentioned that we did have Walmarts here, and we do have a Costco. It's just not part of that Willamette Town Center. But we are limited as far as our big box shopping goes. Now, we do have another shopping area, and that is the downtown area. It's where I love to go. It's where you're going to find more of your local shops, your boutiques, maybe a little bit of your trendy stores. Although, if you're looking for like trendy shopping or high-end shopping, not a whole lot of options here in Salem. You're going to have to go into Portland. Although I will say more and more of those types of places are moving into the downtown area. But my family and I absolutely love supporting local shops in the downtown area, so that's something where we frequent quite often. We also have an indoor shopping mall that's getting revitalized. I will admit it's kind of been defunct, a little bit older, but developers have bought it and turning it into something a little bit more contemporary, more modern, and bringing in more types of vendors and shopping experience. Now, I mentioned earlier in the video, there's another option for big box shopping. That's the Kaiser Station. Technically not in Salem, it's in our sister city to the north, Kaiser, but that's a more contemporary outdoor shopping area where, again, more big box stores there. Now I'm going to mention something, a little bit of a quirky lifestyle thing that we have here in Salem. Now I alluded to how big coffee was, and there's a lot of coffee shops, coffee houses that you can spend some time in, but we've got a lot of drive-through coffee places. And I'm not talking like Starbucks or Coffee Bean. I'm talking a lot of local places, some smaller franchises, but drive-through coffee is a big deal here in Salem. And so it's kind of a thing people do. So you may get caught up in that, may become part of your lifestyle, but just be prepared that that is a thing. Now we've got to the section where I'm going to help you avoid some of those newcomer mistakes. So I'm going to give you some insider tips. First one is not to underestimate that rain and gray skies. A lot of my clients who I've helped move here, and even for myself personally, we all knew that it rains a lot in the Pacific Northwest. Some people aren't quite used to just how much it is. Again, it becomes a mindset thing. You get used to it. It just becomes part of your daily life. And for me, my family, we've embraced it. Not a big deal anymore. And I actually enjoy having all four seasons. And I actually enjoy kind of that cozy weather that we have here in Salem. But just make sure you are prepared for that. The other thing you want to prepare for, especially in your first year here, is not expecting that we have like a Portland lifestyle or amenities or entertainment spots. We just don't. We're not Portland. We don't want to be Portland. A lot of people move from Portland to Salem because they're done with that lifestyle. But if that is kind of your expectations, just because when you think Oregon, you think Portland, and we're just about an hour away, we're a capital city, it's just not that way. So be prepared mentally that you're just not going to have that. If you really absolutely need it and want it, we are just an hour away, so it's not that big of a deal to go to and have fun, but it's not something you're going to be doing nightly or maybe even every weekend. Now, this next insider pro tip for living in Salem, Oregon, especially your first year, is making sure that you engage with the community. Engage in those events. With all the festivals, the parades, community events, farmers markets, there is so much to do, so many activities to engage in. And this is where you're going to meet a lot of new people, make new friends, see your neighbors, see friends, see family. These are places to go and places to be. And you want to make sure you engage that in your first year so you may not feel as isolated when moving to a new city, especially if you don't know a lot of people. This was a mistake my family and I made when we first moved here. We did not take full advantage, especially during that summer. And we felt a little bit lonely when we first moved here. However, that following year, we got right into it and we love it. We embrace it. We hit up so many events throughout the year. And it really means a lot to us to be part of this community here in Salem, Oregon. So if you are considering that move to Salem, Oregon, again, I understand some of the things that you may be going through as I have relocated my family here a few years ago, and now I help a lot of clients buy homes here in Salem and the surrounding area. So if that is something that you're thinking about doing, make sure you hit me up at the contact information, pop me up, or in the description below. And again, I'd love to hear your comments, hear any questions that you have, maybe some of your concerns about your first year here in Salem. So also subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this one. Hit the like button to get this video out to more people like yourselves that are thinking about moving to Salem.